Yes, finally Eden Nocero, and finally Sabir is defeated. Not exactly an awesome defeating moment, after all he only got one single punch on Shiki, but Shiki's power nonetheless is pretty cool looking after all. And this is Hiro Mishima. Never expect awesome fights from him, and not because he's bad at them, it's because his way is of giving the villain a very humiliating one-shot death. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I mean, it can always be better, but if a character don't know how to do that, you cannot criticize them for that. Either way, the Steamstead volume is gonna be released on the 14th of September in Japan. Still don't know if this series is gonna be renewed or cancelled. I guess only after the volume will answer. Well, yes, this is me, the angry anime fan, and this is Eden no Zero, chapter 10. Sabir reactivates his mechanical arm that Wise is actually concerned about because he actually made it. As Sabir, yes, says that um, no one is supposed to upset me in this town. He punches Shiki, and although it certainly does seem to do Shiki damage, Shiki is too pissed to actually ignore to feel that damage, and says that machines are alive, they have heart, as he fires a gravity ball that shrinks in and crushes Sabir and defeats him. Yes, pretty anticlimactic, but it still works. But I don't think really people have the right to complain too much, because then suddenly Sibir's pet activates the machine and grabs Shiki, and Shiki cannot get rid of that. And apparently, according to Happy, it's going to self-destruct. So the one who saves him is actually Pino, who activates her EMP activate, therefore shutting down the robot as well as the row machine. So if she did not do that, then Shiki would have died. So people can at least say that yes, maybe Sibir was defeated pretty quickly, but Shiki said that the machine was pretty strong. He wouldn't have been able to get out of that machine in time. So he got help here. You cannot complain on that. Although it seems to imply that maybe the pet was also a machine. Well, who knows? But then as Sabir tries to raise himself up, having heard Shiki's cry, finally Pino says that I am alive, I'm not your toy. Then suddenly um, Wise stands before Sibir and is ready to shoot the coward, who actually sweats in fear. But because of the EMP, he cannot fire the weapon, so instead Wise just punches the mechanical arm, surprisingly. I guess he was pretty strong in his youth, and destroys it. As Happy is back on, Pino approaches Shiki and uh, worried because he's hurt. But before Shiki says, yes, I'll lick these wounds later. Uh, as Pino wonders why are you worried about a machine like me? Shiki with a smile says, you're no machine, we're friends, aren't we? That is pretty sweet, really feel. As they get back to Rebecca, who has managed to get away from the Foot Brothers, Pino was working with Sibir because mm, she thought she could save the robots, but alas, that was not the case, because Sibir was using Pino's ability to steal military robots in town, probably was intending to raise a robot army and then truly take it over. So, or maybe he just wanted to misuse them as much as we can. As Sibir has been turned over to the police, suddenly Wise points out that the police isn't supposed to be functioning. Uh, but then Happy asks that Pino, why have she come here? After all, they're from their era. But thanks to Sibir, her memories is a fuss and she cannot remember. She thinks that if she is reunited with her master, then maybe her memories can come back. Um, the last maintenance that was made on Pino was recorded to be Professor Wise, but not this Wise, the Wise in the 50 future. So it's pretty so if they return to the future, maybe her memories can come back. It's pretty adorable when Pino shows that little blessing sign with Sparkles, wondering if Wise is her master. Wouldn't it be fun if it turns out that Wise really is her master? But first, they need to find a way to the future. And Wise, but even though Wise shows here that he's not exactly a 100% douche, he's still a greedy thief. So they have, but then suddenly the police are coming this way. Uh, but because of the property damage and the fact that Shiki and Rebecca do not have a citizen ID on them, they very likely will be arrested too. So, and since Wise is also wanted from the Sibir gang, they are hunting him too. At long last, they made it back to the ship and they try to drive off. But then suddenly the alarm points off at the ship following them. It's pretty cool chasing scenes as they try to fly. Unfortunately, though, that they get caught in what seems to be a steel cloud or something, or at least something. Maybe it's a distortion in the future. So, despite this being a model in the future, they are now stuck in the police is on the way. Uh, but then suddenly Wise appeared, who calls the ship a piece of junk, because he somehow sneaked into the room. I mean the ship, because well he needed to escape and maybe steal the ship. Because he then says a little ominously, "Hand over the ship. If you do, I'll make it fly into space." So well, I guess it's in a situation where even though he has a good heart, he still is a thief through and through. And now he's gonna hand over the ship. So well, and what do you mean he'll make it fly into space? If they hand over the ship, or is he saying that hand over the ship to me and I'll fix it for you? Or is he saying like hand over the ship and we're even? Or is he saying that he will fix the ship so we fly in space? I mean, if he hands over the ship and and he fixes it and it can fly into space, then they had to leave the ship. So how will they get back to the future? I mean, you cannot tell me they're only going to be in the past, right? After all, time does not mean much in this manga. Who knows? I'm not really sure where the manga is going. That which I feel is the currently the manga's real weak point. There's some entertaining chapters, true, and the characters are fun, even though some look very similar. But where the story is going, that is the biggest question right now. I think even Hiromashima is searching for that. Alas, though, we do not know if the series is going to be renewed or if it's going to be cancelled. I'm waiting to hear those answers. But at least the volume will be released the 14th of September. Only then, or maybe earlier, will we know. That's basically this chapter. It was okay. I'm glad Sibir got what's coming to him. He was a douche through and through, and it was always satisfying to see that. And I really like Pino's character. She's such an adorable little android. But you can give me your thoughts if you have any. Like and subscribe if you want to. But if you do give me a negative commentary, I'll delete that.